The alarm clock rings, and for most people it's just noise. A sound, an interruption, but for a winner, for someone chasing something greater than comfort, that sound is sacred. That sound is a moment of truth. Every morning, that alarm tests your character. It's a fork in the road. One way leads back to the familiar warmth of the covers. The other takes you into the cold unknown where growth lives. And let me tell you something. Winners choose the cold. Winners choose the climb. When I was young, broke, uncertain, hungry, not just for food, but for purpose, I'd sleep on nobody's gonna knock on your door, hand you a dream and say, here you go. It's your turn. Life doesn't work like that. Winners understand this from the jump. They don't wake up waiting for approval. They don't look around for someone to validate their vision. They wake up already in motion, already moving towards something only they can see. See, most people need the world to clap for them before they believe. But winners clap for themselves in the dark. They rise without applause. They grind without confirmation. Because their fire ain't lit by the outside world. It's burning from within. You gotta stop waiting for a moment that feels perfect. Stop waiting for someone to tell you it's your time. That moment you're hoping for, it's not coming. Not unless you get up and make it happen. When your eyes open in the morning, you either step into your excuse or you step into your execution. Purpose isn't about waiting, it's about willing yourself to move even when it's hard, even when it's quiet. Even when the odds are stacked so high, all you can see is struggle. Winners don't wait for the mountain to move. They start climbing. You don't need a sign, you are the sign. You don't need permission. You are the proof, those first moments after you wake up. They're not small, they're not throwaway minutes, they're sacred. How you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. What you do first doesn't just reflect your priorities, it shapes them. You roll over, reach for your phone, start scrolling. You're already on someone else's agenda, someone else's life, someone else's noise. But when you wake up with intention, when you choose to start the day with clarity, stillness, maybe a prayer, maybe a thought that grounds you, you step into the driver's seat of your life. Winners don't stumble into their mornings, they build them. Brick by brick, thought by thought, they wake up and guard that space like it's gold, because it is. I remember times when I didn't do that. Back in the day, running from audition to audition, waking up already behind, chasing something I hadn't even defined. I felt lost, burned out, but the shift came when I stopped letting the morning happen to me and started owning it. Now, before I let the world in, I let me in. I feed my soul before I feed the stress. I don't let noise speak before I hear my own voice. You start the day with chaos, you'll carry that chaos with you like a weight. But you start with purpose, with a ritual that reminds you of who you are. You move different. You walk into rooms with certainty. You lead, not follow, because what you do first, it does something to you. It tells your mind, this is who we are. This is what matters. And when your mind believes it, your life begins to reflect it. You ever wake up before the alarm, not because you had to, but because something inside you was already awake? That's not a coincidence. That's not your body. That's your spirit speaking. That's purpose knocking before the sun comes up. See, your spirit knows before your flesh catches up. It knows when it's time to move. It knows there's something waiting for you out there, something bigger than sleep, bigger than comfort, bigger than that voice in your head telling you 5 more minutes. Winners feel that call deep, and they don't roll over when it comes. They rise, even when it's dark, even when the world is quiet, even when no one else understands why you're up grinding at 5 a.m. They move. Because it's not about hype, it's about alignment. It's about knowing that if your spirit is waking you up early, that means your purpose is on the clock. But too many people ignore it. They feel that tug, that whisper, and they bury it under blankets and distractions. They hit snooze on their calling, and every time they do, it gets a little quieter, a little dimmer, a little harder to hear. You can't afford to sleep on yourself, not now, not ever. Because the moment you start treating those early stirrings like they matter, like they're divine instructions instead of random thought, you start walking in a different direction, a direction that belongs to you. That's the difference. Some people wake up tired because they've been sleepwalking through their own potential. But winners, they may be tired, but they're lit up from the inside. Because when your spirit wakes before your body does, that means your purpose is waiting. And all you have to do is show up. There's something powerful about showing up, especially when no one's clapping, no one's watching, and no one even knows what you're doing. That's where real character lives. That's where greatness is born. Not on the stage, but in the silence. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows of early mornings and late nights. Winners don't just show up when the lights are on. They show up when it's just them, the work, and the voice in their head that says, "No one's gonna know if you quit." And they answer that voice with action, with discipline, with presence. I remember being on set, long hours, hard roles, scenes that drained everything out of me. And sometimes no one sees that. They just see the final product, the speech, the smile, the success. But what they don't see, the rehearsals in front of a mirror, the early calls, the long reads, the nights when doubt crept in like fog, and the only thing that kept me standing was routine. You see, when you show up day after day, you build something inside that can't be faked. You build integrity. You become the kind of person who keeps promises to themselves, and that's rare, that's special. Because most people only move when there's a reason, when there's recognition, when there's reward. But winners, they move because they refuse to sit still. They show up because the dream matters more than the discomfort. They show up because they know the work works, even when it's invisible. So when the world ain't looking, that's when it counts the most. That's when your habits are either building your future or burying it. And the truth is, if you can show up in the dark, in the quiet, in the unseen, you'll be ready for the moment when the world finally does see you. But by then, you won't need applause because you'll know you earned it long before anyone clapped. So now you know how winners wake up. They don't rise because they're lucky. They don't rise because life handed them a perfect plan. They rise because they made a decision every single morning to show up with purpose, with fire, and with faith. It starts the moment your eyes open. That's your opportunity. That's your invitation, and what you do with it. That's what separates ordinary from extraordinary. You don't need a perfect morning. You need an honest one. One where you stop running from yourself and start running toward who you're meant to be. Don't wait for someone to tell you it's your time. It's already your time. It's been your time. The question is, are you willing to wake up and take it? Because the truth is, winners don't just wake up early. They wake up ready, ready to grow, ready to lead, ready to become what they were born to be. Now it's your turn. So tomorrow morning, when the alarm goes off, don't just wake up. Rise up and move like a winner.